Hi everybody, welcome to episode 2 of Spot On. I'm here at Gibbons in Newark with Frank Cannone and Mark Kuehn. Gentlemen, welcome to the show again.
Thank you, Abe.
Thanks so much, Abe.
Our pleasure.
Let's talk about some of those things, some of the areas where you've supported entrepreneurs. You mentioned solar, you mentioned some of the cross-border.
Yeah.
Can you share some examples with us?
Sure. So, for example, in the solar arena, we probably have one of the leading practices in the state of New Jersey. And that's significant because New Jersey has one of the largest capacity for solar arrays in the country and in the world, actually. And that's a function of close to 8-9 years ago when the New Jersey Energy Master Plan gave greater incentives for the investment in solar-based energy. And that investment, that program caused investment to come to New Jersey. And the marketplace for that you need high energy prices, and you need to have users of energy, and then you need to have investments, and you need to have some subsidies. And the subsidies came from New Jersey, but those came from the federal government. New Jersey was a great melting pot for that. And back at that time, there was capital coming from around the globe, because money always finds a welcoming home. It just does. If it's a friendly place, money comes. We met with people from Australia, we met with people from England, we met with people from Germany, we met with people from Spain that wanted to invest in New Jersey in solar and real estate.
And you guys have that cross-border capability to
And
be able to handle those relationships.
Correct,
from a legal
and that's
perspective.
in addition to that. And what that solar platform did is that we started with small developers, and we went to publicly traded pay-per-clip solar providers around the globe.
Wow.
And we've represented very large companies to small startups in all aspects, from the developers to the sponsors to the financing to the providers. From direct, we do grid, we do behind the meter, and we've got an incredible program here for that. And because it's capital markets, so
Yeah.
it's project finance. Project finance, and because of our legal department here in corporate. Most of the attorneys in the group have come from the larger bulge bracket law firms and have come onto this platform. So they're very familiar, very experienced. Their wherewithal is top notch in dealing with complicated financing structures. And that's how come we were able to do that very well. And we did it for all different ends of the capital stack in solar.
And then you take that platform, and then whatever's next, right?
Whatever's next.
Whatever's right.
Well, whatever you see the market.
Right.
Look, the world changes rapidly now, and if you're not ahead of it, you're not part of it, right? And so, it's just what we are. But you need to have the blocking and the tackling.
Right.
You got to be able to be an excellent lawyer.
Yeah.
You need to understand how to do it and do it well, especially when there's sophisticated capital coming into a project. The tolerance for inexperience is non-existent. They're not going to accept it. And they're not, and they should.
But 8-9 years ago, when the solar energy credits and the master plan became a big thing in New Jersey, and it happened fairly quickly, we had the capability on the legal end within the firm, and we formed a group. But then we went back to the in-person meeting, and we said, nobody's done a conference. We're going to do a conference on what's going on in New Jersey. We knocked the doors off. We had 700 people came to that conference in a hotel conference room near here, and we had leaders in solar.
How did you recognize that moment, right? I mean, there's plenty of law firms, but how did you guys recognize that moment?
It was really a Frank and Mark partnership, because Frank saw it. He saw the spark, and he said,
Okay.
"Wow, we can do this." And so we worked together.
First, there's got to be a need.
Right.
There's a need here.
Right, but so there's a need. You recognize there's a need.
So then there was a
right,
need.
but at that moment, right?
Yeah, what we said is what solar is basically no different than real estate finance, and it's a REIT. So the way the real estate industry evolved was that mom and pop privately held real estate projects. The industry would cyclically go up and down, and then one way to exit was to monetize it through public structures, and because they're driven by tax incentives. And the same way that you have tenants in apartment buildings, here you'd have long-term power purchase agreements. They're going to subsidize the investment in the array. And then what will ultimately happen is there'll be a public market for this.
What I'm hearing here is that you guys also see the market from a strategy perspective, not just a legal perspective. So you understand the dynamics of the business right? And the opportunity. I mean, that's what's coming across here.
I love business. I went into business after college. Then I went to law school and tax law school, went to a law firm and said, I got law degrees. Why didn't I get an MBA? I really like business. And I left the law firm after several years back when and went to an investment firm that led to me going into business. And I founded a firm that I grew to 250 full-time employees with partners. I bought a turnaround business that I exited, and I ran a turnaround manufacturing company for a private equity firm. So over 15 years, I was a business guy. I thought I would never go back to law because I love business. But then I had an opportunity to go back. But through Frank, we were able to create a role where my business, because I love business, I love the law. And so it's kind of that business and intuition and love that we melded together here that, for me, it's very exciting.
That's great. Can we talk about another example outside of solar that you guys were excited about, or you were able to put your finger on the pulse and kind of carry a project through?
Yeah, I would say our international practice, we're not the genesis of it, but this law firm was. In particular, our partners, Terry Myers in particular is one of our partners, has one of the most vibrant cross-border German practices, and representing German middle-tier companies that are family-run in Germany that are typically very large, but they're family-run. And as they grow in Germany, they grow in Europe, and they grow elsewhere around the world, they come to the United States and they need a counsel.
Do you have offices in Germany?
No, we do not practice outside of the United States. We strictly practice U.S. law, but we are frequently in Germany. As a matter of fact, at this moment, my partner Terry is in Germany. He's in Dusseldorf, and they're frequently there because we have a number of our partners that are fluent in German, understand the German culture, and are German actually, and they decided to practice in the United States, take the bar in the United States, and then move to the United States, but service German-based businesses. And that's led itself to a couple things. One, we have a Referendor program, which is the basis in which German-based lawyers become certified to become lawyers. They have to do an apprenticeship, be a Referendor, and we're a sanctioned organization for that. And I can't imagine there's a firm of our size that also has that. Right? The larger firms do, but none of our size, because it's a commitment and it's something that you need to sustain, and we've been doing it for decades.
Right.
That has led to an international program. So it's not just Germany anymore. It's Spain, it's the UK, it's Italy, it's Switzerland, it's Sweden, it's Austria, as well as in Asia, and that has led itself to us representing accounting firms. So the large accounting firms overseas practice law.
Right.
The evolution of the legal business is evolving, where it's going to become, you can see, centralized with the large accounting firms because they do certain things very, very well. They manage people exceptionally well. They handle IT exceptionally well. They manage property, FF&E, exceptionally well. And on the legal side, that's a service. They do that very well. So they've moved into this marketplace, but they cannot practice in the United States because you need to be a U.S. lawyer and you can't share your legal fees with non-lawyers. If you've got an international project that has a U.S. component, which is using one of the big four accounting firms, their legal departments, they need a U.S. law firm to represent them. So we represent, as preferred providers, a number of the large big four accounting firms.
And having a foothold in the largest economy in Europe would seem to be a great advantage for you and your clients who want to do business over there. So Mark and Frank, tell us, give us some nuggets. How do entrepreneurs actually connect with large companies? I mean, if we can depart with that would be great.
Well, a challenge for entrepreneurs is they're wearing multiple hats, they don't have time, they're stressed out, and they're short of money. And so it's easy for them to slough off setting up their legal house in order. And that can cost them tons and tons of money. If you don't attach the correct intellectual property to it, you're basically giving it away. And it's way more than just patents. It's the whole package of how to protect what you've created. So what we do is we work with entrepreneurs that are stressed out and too busy and don't have the funds, and find a way to help them, guide them so that they do have the right structure. So when they receive investments, whether it's early stage, angel, seed, VC money, or corporate investments, that they package it correctly, which is a challenge because they're running really fast and they don't have time and they just barely have enough money for so many months ahead.
Sure.
And we help guide them the best we can.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us today on another episode of Spot On. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Abe.